So I stumbled upon a forum thread on BGG detailing the specifics of this archetype called Grindel Whiz, where you use Grindel and the vast number of barriers within faction and both within faction and neutral, along with Will of the Wisp to trash the opponent's barrier breakers to ensure that you can score agendas 3D. So I'm now giving it a go, just to see how effective it is and what sort of downsides, drawbacks it has. This might give me insight as well when someone plays Will of the Wisp against me. I think it's quite interesting that finally Wayland is getting some teeth. Now you can play vegan Wayland that much better. And even though I'm saying I'm playing vegan Wayland, well, there are still a couple of punitive counter-strikes in my deck. Another idea that I got from the thread as well. It's a really good thread and can discourage reckless play if the runner decides to go out of hand. Alright, so I draw and I see the archer along with the oversight AI in my hand. No question, they are both going on the remote. This is because I know that he's running Hemorrhage and he's probably running Imp as well, even though he's Whizzard. I cannot risk having either component being milled to the ground. So I'm definitely going to rest the archer on the remote. Anarchs are by far the worst faction in the entire game to deal with a rest archer. There's no question about that. Criminals have emergency shutdown and ferry, while shapers always pack sharpshooter. Anarchs have nothing that can stop an archer. Or can get through an archer rather. The best tool they have is a knight, and that costs 6 credits to get in, at the very least, if you're not breaking the first subroutine. So that's really terrible, and because of that, I see him on 0 credits. I see he has no breakers on board. He's absolutely not going to get through unless he has an inside job. And I don't think he runs inside job. So there goes the government contracts, double advanced. Good luck getting in. I hope you packed your inside job. Well, he definitely sure could. I made a very risky play early on by not icing up HQ. If he had Account Siphon and Vamp in his starting hand, he could easily blow me right down to the ground and wipe me of all my advantage that I start with, the 10 credits that Grindel has. But thankfully, that's not what he did. But that still leaves me worrying. Where did all his influence go? I have no idea. If he's not running Account Siphon, is he running Inside Job? I don't think so, but I can't tell right now. We shall have to wait and see. So, as I said, I managed to score my first agenda quickly. I don't have a second agenda to score, unfortunately, so I can only draw up and ice up HQ. Now, I'm not a fan of protecting HQ, especially when there's nothing to protect against. He clearly isn't running Siphon, and I have no agendas in hand. If I were to draw an agenda, it would go straight into the remote. So what am I worrying about? Simple. I'm worrying about his Data Sucker and Hemorrhage. They are starting to get out of hand. I need to stop him from getting that many virus tokens, because it is a little ridiculous that he's getting the Hemorrhage charged up to a point where he can mill my entire hand in one turn, or worse still, collecting lots of Data Sucker tokens, because the other answer that Anarchs have to arrest Archer is a Parasite and 6 Data Sucker tokens. So I need to make sure that he doesn't get to that point. So what do I do for this? I continue icing up my remote. This is to protect against Parasite runs. If he decides to Parasite and throw some Data Sucker tokens on it, he needs to get through to the Archer, which means he has to get past my Ice Wall. Then I block off Archives for good, so there's no way he's going to get in right now to charge up his Data Sucker. So it's stuck at 3 virus tokens. This should buy me enough time to find my next agenda and score it safely. So yes, I'm definitely starving him painfully right now. And the worst thing is that now he's using Jin, which is going to cost him a lot of clicks and credits. Yes, he's spending a lot of time getting these viruses out, and he's not even accomplishing anything with it because it's not noise. He's not milling cards from my R&D. Alright, so I draw into a hostile takeover, but I can't score it this turn. I had a debate. Not very sure whether I should install the hostile or the Jackson. In the long run, the Jackson is better because I need to find my next 5-3 agenda. Very important. My agenda composition here is 6 5-3 agendas and 3 hostile takeovers. The 6 5-3s are government contracts and priority requisitions, obviously. Eden Shard, or is it Eden Fragment? Yes, Eden Fragment is pretty good, but it's not suitable for this deck. I'm not looking to build towers upon towers of impenetrable remote servers, or R&D server towers. I'm looking to just blow up all the icebreakers that the runner has. So Eden Fragment is not going to help. Alright, looking at the board, he just installed a David. So now Anarchs have a solution to Archer in the form of this. It's not even an icebreaker. I don't think it's an icebreaker. David is fantastic. It breaks anything that has a strength of 5 or more. And Archer is conveniently on strength 6. So he can easily get through to my remote server. So now my remote server is technically porous. Thankfully, he showed me the David, because otherwise I wouldn't be bothering to ice up the remote any further. Now, seeing that he has the David, I got my wall of static up there in preparation for the priority requisition to go into the remote next turn. Yes, so now that I've drawn my agenda, I can finally score it. And since I've protected HQ, he's not going to get in to steal my agendas either. So back to David. The one problem with David is that unlike Sharpshooter or Fairy, or Emergency Shutdown, he's not going to be able to trash my Archer after the encounter. Archer has 4 subroutines, and he can only break 3 of them with David, unless he gets an E3 feedback and plants out. He's not going to be able to de-res my Archer, so he can get in the first time, he's not going to get through anymore after that. So now that I'm ready to score my priority rec, I'm going to shuffle in 3 economy cards back into archives, R&D. But no, I'm not going for the priority rec. I instead decide to try the hostile takeover instead, because he has 1 credit to his name, and he has a charge up KT. He could very well take money off KT right now and install a Corroder. That would completely ruin my plans of scoring the priority rec. So I'm expecting him to do that. As such, I tested the waters by throwing in the hostile takeover. If I manage to bait him into running that server and spending all his David tokens, I can then safely score the priority rec. But he doesn't, so I score the hostile takeover and immediately threaten game point by advancing the priority rec. So yes, he basically has 1 turn to win right now, and the only way he's going to win is to get through to the remote. He still could do it with a Corroder plus KT Jones, but I have to take the risk right now. If he didn't do it last turn, it means that he doesn't have the capability to do so. So yes, he completely forgoes the remote. Instead, he attempts the R&D deck, but by now it's click 3. He's only going to see 2 or 3 cards at most, and I pretty much have this game. The moment he didn't access an agenda on his 3rd click run, I knew that the game was over for him. So my afterthoughts. Hemorrhage is a very meh card. Until you get a double Hemorrhage on the table, it's very mediocre. I was more than happy to trash cards to Hemorrhage against him, because that meant that he was wasting clicks himself. I didn't need so many cards. I could throw away my hedge funds, my Will of the Wisps, and some pieces of ice for all I cared. It was his loss of clicks that was more painful for him actually. Using a Hemorrhage was more painful for him than it was for me. And I think that's what cost him the game. Had he played something like a Data Sucker instead on his as his first virus program, things might have been different. And he was also very passive in his running. He didn't bother to try to rest any of my central ice until he realized he had nowhere to go to run to charge his Hemorrhage. So had he gotten a Parasite out much earlier, things could have gone really different, because I would be forced to defend my central servers with the Quandaries, which meant more open servers for him to carry out nasty shenanigans, particularly with regards to Data Sucker charging. A Jin on the board with a Data Sucker fully loaded is a very scary prospect for any corp, especially one that is completely reliant on a rest archer with oversight AI to score agendas. So yeah, that was my weak point, and he completely missed it. And on the other hand, I managed to keep him out with my triple quadri and a very secure remote server. That rest archer really hurt him very bad. And yeah, it's pretty painful to play against as an NARC any day. That's all I have. Thanks for watching.